Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV. Well, Manchester City's Chief Operating Officer, Omar Berrada, has given a long-ranging interview to some of the press. He's talked to The Athletic and he's also talked to the Manchester Evening News. Possibly may have talked to others, but those are the two that I've seen today. And he's talked about many things. I've already done a video about what he said about Messi and my thoughts on that. And in this video, I'm going to look at the Pep Guardiola contract situation and the Sergio Aguero contract situation, because I mean Sergio's contract runs out next year and so does Pep's, and it's a concern for fans. Let's talk about Pep first. It's a concern for fans because Pep hasn't signed a new deal. Yeah, he's always left it open. If the club want to keep me, if the players are still responding to me, I'm going to sign. He said I can still get sacked if I don't do well and all this, and the club have always been supportive of him, but we've had conflicting information out in the last month or so, or even a bit longer. We've had people like Ian Cheeseman come out and say that Pep's going to sign a new contract or an extension. I've heard from somebody connected with the club that he would. I was under the impression that would be, it might well be, not definitely, it might well be a 12-month rolling contract. Okay, that's what I was told. Was it a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, someone told me that it's looking like he might not sign that new contract. And this was at a time, I've got to remember this, guys, this was at a time where we were struggling to get our final targets over the line. We were struggling, it had been rumoured that we were after Kalidou Koulibaly all summer long. Okay, Omar Berrada, he talked about that, and I'll talk about that in another video, a longer video that I do. But we were after Kalidou Koulibaly all summer long. Okay. It was rumoured, strong rumour. I think was it the president of Sevilla said we've turned down a bid for Jules Koundé, centre back. Okay, so that was a more than a strong rumour. If the fella says it himself, if the president says we turned down a bid, and I think the bid was about 50 million euros or 50 million quid, we turned that down. There was a rumour linking us to Jimenez of Atletico. Okay, now City said we never put a bid in for him, and Atletico said we want our whatever £110 million release clause. We ain't doing anything for less than that. So we ended up with Ruben Diaz. Was it 3 weeks into the season, or 3 games into the season? Sorry, 3 games into the season. Just before the transfer window closes, we get Ruben Diaz. Now City normally do their transfer business in this way, early. We do it early. Yeah. Nathan Ake, Ferran Torres, very early. So why'd you leave this one right to the death? Why'd you leave this? And I think it all felt like it was all rolled into one. It felt, people said Pep doesn't look happy. Okay, he doesn't seem happy. He's a bit short with the answers to some of the questions in press conferences, and you can put that down to many things. Issues in his personal life. Obviously his mother passed away 6 months ago from COVID-19. I think his family are still in Barcelona. It's going to, I guess, be a big issue about seeing them. You can't just hop on a plane and go and see them, because when you come back you got to quarantine. Okay, I guess at this stage you can go to Spain and you don't have to quarantine, but when you come back you got to quarantine for 14 days. I don't know if Pep gets through any exemptions, but a lot of these things have got to be weighing on your mind. Is football the most important thing in your life right now with what's going on in the world? I don't know, okay? So there's lots of things, and I was told that Pep was unlikely to sign a new contract. Now, at that time, very soon after, there was a hive of activity, it seemed, and we suddenly got Ruben Diaz in. Okay, there was rumours we were looking for a left back and a striker because Sergio Aguero was injured. He'd been injured for 4 months, I think, before he starts playing again, and Gabriel Jesus was back for 3 or 4 weeks. So there was rumours and that we were interested in these other players. Now it might be, so the conjecture now, it might be that Pep was really unhappy and City started looking to get some targets in to help him, to appease him, to help him feel a little bit more comfortable and relaxed and motivated. He's got new players coming in to sign that new contract, okay, which has not happened so far. But I'm going to talk about what Omar Berrada has said and how he refers to the transfer window. He said, apparently he believes that the transfer window was a significant hurdle cleared, okay, but he's insisting that the relationship the manager has with senior figures at the club means that he will not be given a deadline to decide whether to sign a new deal or not. It was important for us to have a successful transfer window, which we've had. A lot of good decisions on the squad, the players, and the competitiveness. So I think it is important for Pep and Cheeky to address that when it is the right time. Our priority is Pep staying. So if it requires a bit of time, it requires a bit of time. But we want him to stay. There's an element of being prepared to make a decision, but at the same time he has demonstrated enough, and in terms of his performances as a manager and the team, he has shown enough commitment, and we have shown commitment to him. There's a lot of trust in that relationship with the chairman, that's Caldino Mubarak, with Cheeky, with Ferran, Soriano, Pep and his coaching staff. And when you have that level of trust in the relationship, the conversations are much easier. I think we'll be fine throughout this process. Clearly, Pep was the best manager, is the best manager, and will continue to be the best manager in the world. He has proven that at Barcelona, at Bayern, and with us, and we want him to stay and feel comfortable being with us. This is his 5th season working with us, which he's never done with any other club. That is testament to his commitment, which is great. Those conversations will happen at the right time. Now, I think if you guys were watching the channel for long enough, you know my feeling on the matter. It leaves a lot of people uncomfortable that Pep hasn't signed a contract, hasn't committed to that. And I understand the relationship. I understand the club want him to stay. Okay? I understand all that, guys. But the fact he hasn't committed, you get that feeling that it's his last season. You get that feeling anyway. We've had that. We've had it before with Mancini towards the end, and we knew it was Pellegrino's last season. 2 years before he actually left, or 1 year before he actually left. We knew it was his last season, even though he'd signed a contract extension. That was to try and keep people quiet, but we knew it was just what's the right word? It was a sugar pill, It was a pseudo contract, It was a placebo in effect. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to stay longer. We knew Pep was coming way before it was actually announced. So that's the concern, that if it's Pep's last season, there'll be a few players who might not hit the targets, might not hit the heights that they've hit previously. As I said, not everybody's going to enjoy working with Pep. His intensity, his attention to detail, his obsessiveness, okay, and the rules and everything else. There are some players who don't like that, and they will be looking at it and saying, if Pep's leaving at the end of the summer, and next summer, I might loosen up a little bit. I might not give it my everything. They might say, I'm on a 3-year contract, I'm on big money, they can't get rid of me. So I'll just wait for the next guy and hope that the next guy likes me, and hope that the next guy doesn't have the same sort of fitness regime or work regime or anything else. The next guy isn't so intense, so people can back off. And that is a big concern, because you back off a little bit, you're gone. Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, he's done 5 years already. He seems really motivated, because it's taken him so long to get to the pinnacle, the top, winning the Premier League, winning the Champions League. He's where he wants to be now. Maybe City got there too soon with that Centurion season, but Klopp is there now. I think he's got 3 or 4 years left on his contract. Liverpool feel in a very comfortable position. The fans feel very comfortable about it. We don't, because Pep hasn't agreed anything. But and I've said this before, at some point the board will look at it as well and say, if they're not happy that he's doing what they want him to do, then they will boot him. If we finish 5th, I think he'll be gone. If we don't challenge in all the competitions in the league and the Champions League, these are the businessmen. Caldino Mubarak, Sheikh Mansour, the businessmen. And if keeping Pep on is harming I wouldn't say harming their brand, but harming the value of their brand, obviously. If you're not challenging, if you're not winning stuff, then the fly-by-night fans will just flitter off and go and follow Liverpool or whatever. And it's fans who are not in the UK, fans who are far-flung corners all over the world. They just move around different clubs. And City want them. That's where the new money is. Your local fans, generally the new money isn't there, but with fans from all over the world, that's where City hope that they can make a few extra million quid here and there. So that's an issue. What did he say about Aguero? Because obviously Aguero's contract runs out next summer as well. Now, obviously, Sergio Aguero is our record goal scorer, but he's having niggles, it feels like, every season. Last season, if I remember correctly, he played 24 league games, or he featured in 24 league games, scored 16 goals, which is a pretty good return, 2 in every 3 league games. Very decent return. But he's been out injured. He's been out injured already for, I think it's 4 months, with a knee issue. And at some point, we all know, he's 32, now he'll be 33 next summer when his contract expires. We know he's entering the final phases of his City career, at least. He's not going to be, I don't think, at the top level for very much longer. He's still at a very good level. Is he at the top level? You can argue one way or the other, but he's still at a very good level. And City got to have plans in for who's going to follow him. That's why I thought we might get someone this summer, because if Aguero, as his decline goes on, we need somebody to come in. And I personally don't want somebody who's new to the Premier League, to come in, Aguero to leave, and someone brand new to come in and take over straight away. Because if they don't hit the ground running, you've got a problem that season. Okay, so I would much prefer someone to come in and have one season playing with Sergio or a second choice, but getting enough games to get used to the physicality, get used to the Premier League. And then when Aguero does go, that person's ready. They've already had that adaptation period. Okay, so that for me is an issue. Anyway, let's go on to what Omar Berrada said. I think you'll see that with top players like Sergio and managers, they have to feel that they can keep contributing to the team and being important for the squad. We're all ambitious, they're ambitious, and they want to contribute. With Sergio, we're expecting another amazing season for him, and then the conversation about his future will be had right now. But right now, we're just focused on him getting back from his injury and performing as he has been doing up till now. For every single position, we have to be prepared, because there can be so many things that can happen. But at the same time, I think we have the financial strength and system ability to make that investment when required. That's what puts us in a position where we feel comfortable that we'll be able to take the right decision, because it also doesn't mean that we'll have to rush into anything. First, because Sergio and Gabriel are performing very well. They are 2 of the best strikers in the world right now, and when we do decide to bring in potentially someone else, whether it is next season or the one after, then we will be in a financial position to do it for the right price. In normal circumstances, we have the financial strength and sustainability and a base to be able to make a significant investment if we decide it is the right route to go down. I don't know how much you can read into that, guys. It's another one of these worrying situations, like with David Silva. David Silva said he's leaving at the end of the season, and he did leave. He said 10 years is enough. Now, he still had the ability to stay on, and I think right up to the last minute, City had that 12-month contract extension offer on the table for him. He could have signed it whenever he wanted. Now, I think Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, our chairman, has already said that Aguero can leave whenever he wants. In effect, he can stay. Aguero said he wants to stay and win the Champions League with City. Now, he might be 40 years old before that happens, guys, the way we've been going over the last few years. But the worry is, it's another one of these things. Now, obviously, they're not going to tell you everything that's going on. The board, people like Cheeky or Ferran or Omar Berrada, they're going to obviously give you half stories sometimes, because they can't tell you the truth. They can't come out and say, yes, we were really after Messi. We expected to get Messi last summer, or we were really after Koulibaly. We were expecting to get Koulibaly last summer, or that Aguero's leaving next season, or he's going to stay for another season. They're not going to say all these things. They're not going to tell us, the fans, pretty much anything of any value. So we don't know what the situation is. Obviously they have already got ideas about what's going to happen with Pep and with Sergio. Now, it could come. I don't honestly believe we're going to wait till the end of the season and then decide if we need somebody else. City don't work like that. It sounds very perverse, because City plan ahead. They plan sometimes 1 or 2 years ahead, by bringing in someone I'll talk about in another video, Zach Steffen. You bring in Zach Steffen, you send him out on loan for a year, and then you bring him back to City to be understudy to, and not just an understudy, but a challenger to Edison. So you thought about that probably 2 years in advance. City are not going to wait till next summer and say, Serge, are you signing on? You can stay on, mate. And then Sergio Aguero says, well, actually, no, I don't think so. I'm going to go back to Argentina. And then City are going to start scrambling in June looking for another striker. You must be kidding me, guys. City already have a very good idea what they're going to do. Their strategy, their plans already in position. But it's interesting to see what Omar Berrada says and how you can see how much he tells us and how little he tells us at the same time. Guys, if you are new to our YouTube channel, it would be fantastic if you could support us trying to get to 3,000 subscribers simply by subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out. We'll see you around Blues.